Good morning, dear students. Welcome to the video classes of class 7 science, and we are going to learn about chapter number 2, that is nutrition in animals. In this chapter we have to learn about steps in animals nutrition. There are different steps in animal nutrition and we have to study them in detail, like ingestion. What is ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and egestion? So these are the different steps that is happening in animals nutrition. Thereafter we have to study about nutrition in amoeba, then nutrition in humans and nutrition in grass-eating animals. But in this video we have to study steps in animal nutrition, nutrition in amoeba, and nutrition in humans. And nutrition in grass-eating animals we will cover in the next video of this chapter. So, steps in animals nutrition. Before starting this, we have to first understand that what is holozoic nutrition. So students, this holozoic nutrition means taking in food and its utilization by our body. So in this holozoic nutrition, that means food is taken by the organism into the mouth, and that is followed by several steps which are known as steps in animals nutrition or steps of nutrition. So after the last step, the food is utilized by our body. So most animals exhibit this kind of nutrition. So here we have different steps which are ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and egestion. So what is ingestion? As the name suggests, in means inside, and gestion means taking. So that means the process by which the food is taken inside the body of an organism is called ingestion. And different organisms use different methods to get food. There are several special structures in our or in each organisms for taking food inside the body. In amoebas, false food or pseudopodia is used to engulf the food particles. A spider weaves a web to catch the prey. As we all know that amoeba, it is a single cell organism, and in this it has pseudopodia. Pseudopodia, it is made up of two different words which are pseudo and podia. So what does pseudo means? Pseudo means false, and podia or the word podium, it means feet. That means false feet. These feet of amoeba are not used for walking, but it is used to engulf the food. We will discuss about it in detail when we are studying nutrition in amoeba. The butterfly uses its tongue to suck nectar from the flower. The mosquitoes feed on the blood of animals and obtain it through their feeding tube by sucking. Students, when the mosquito bites us, the part of its body that goes inside our body, which is known as feeding tubes, and that tubes suck the blood which the mosquito will get. Thereafter, the frog uses its tongue to catch its food. The next step of nutrition is digestion. So what does digestion means? It is a process in which the complex food material changes into simple form. Students, the food that we eat are in complex form, which is not directly used by our body. And that is why it is important that the food first converted into simple form, which is then absorbed, and this process of conversion of the food from complex material into a simple form is known as digestion. This process of digestion is followed by several enzymes which are known as digestive enzyme or digestive juices, which are secreted by our stomach, by our different organs like liver, pancreas. Thereafter we have absorption. So as the name suggests, absorption, it means it is the process in which the simple form of food get absorbed by the small intestine. Here in small intestine, it is the organ of human or animal's body in which the absorption takes place. The simple form which is now formed is absorbed by the villi or by the intestine. Villi is present, it is a finger-like growth which is on the small intestine. So major absorption is done by the small intestine by the help of the villi. Thereafter, assimilation. So it is a process in which the food gives energy for the growth. And egestion, it is a process in which the removal of waste material takes place. Students, the food that we are eating, these are not totally utilized by our body and is not totally required for our body. And for this, the things which are required or the nutrients are absorbed by the intestine, and the rest of the part which is not required or not essential for our body is removed through the anus, and this process is known as egestion. So the first that we have to study in this is about nutrition in amoeba, but first we will study about what is amoeba. So students, amoeba, it is a single cell organism. As we know that our human body are made up of millions of cells, okay, and these cells, when it will unite, it will form a tissue, and when more tissues are united, they will form an organ. Thereafter an organism is formed, but here this amoeba, it is the simplest organism that is on the earth, and it is made up of only one cell. So these are microscopic, that means these organisms are not visible to us by our naked eyes, and for this it requires microscope. So organisms found in pond water is a simple organism having an irregular shape. Its body consists of cell membrane, a rounded nucleus, and many bubble-like vacuoles. So students, the body of amoeba is surrounded by, or it is consist of cell membrane, and also in which there is a nucleus found. Surrounding nucleus, there are many vacuoles. These are known as food vacuoles. Let us see it with the figure. Here, this is the structure of amoeba. As you can see, this is single cell. So this is single cell organism in which it has pseudopodia or pseudopores. Here you can see this finger-like outgrowth, these are known as pseudopores, and it has contractile vacuoles. Vacuoles are the space which are present into the cell, and these are used in the movement or in keeping the things inside it. Thereafter it has food vacuoles. As you can see in the image that there is food vacuoles in which the food that this amoeba is engulfing, which will goes inside the food vacuoles, and here the digestive juice is secreted and the digestion process is proceeded. Thereafter you can see there is a nucleus. As we know that nucleus contains genetic material, and when this amoeba is divided, it will form two daughter or two cells. and also this nucleus is also divided with it, and this is the reproduction. This is the simplest form of reproduction, where this single cell is breaked into two different cells, and also the nuclei is also breaked. Thereafter you can see there is a cell membrane, and here endoplasm. Here that means endoplasm. Endo means inside, so whatever the substance present inside the structure of this cell is known as endoplasm. And here the term ectoplasm, it means the substances which are present outside the cell, these are known as ectoplasm. Here nutrition in amoeba, so let us study about it. The different processes involved in holozoic nutrition in amoeba are as follows. The first step in holozoic nutrition, in any holozoic nutrition, is what? It is ingestion. That means taking food inside the body of an organism or inside the mouth. If they have mouth, then the food goes inside the mouth. But here we are studying amoeba. So in amoeba there is no mouth present. So in this, the food is engulfed, it will goes into the body of the amoeba. So here ingestion is a process taking in food into the body either by swallowing or by absorbing it. Amoeba pushes out the pseudopodia. Pseudopodia, as we know, these are finger-like outgrowth, and to encircle the food and engulf it, forming a food vacuoles. This process is known as phagocytosis. Phagocytosis means engulfing the food as it is present outside, it will comes inside the body of amoeba, and this is known as phagocytosis. So this pseudopodia, these are finger-like outgrowth, and like here you can see. So if the food is present here, this food will come inside the body of amoeba with the help of these pseudopodias. These are finger-like outgrowth, and this will grows into its size, and ultimately it will surround the food particles, and now it will mixing the food into its body. So this is the function of pseudopodia. It helps in engulfing the food particles. Thereafter the second step is digestion. So what is digestion? It is the process of breaking the insoluble and large food molecules in soluble and minute molecules. Especially when we are studying about amoeba, the food vacuoles are transported deeper into the cell, and with the help of the digestive enzymes, the large insoluble particles are broken down into simple molecule. So students, this is very important that the large insoluble particles of the food get converted into the simple form, simple molecules, because if this process is not happening, if the conversion of large to a small is not happening, then the absorption process is not taking place, and thereafter the food is not used by the amoeba or any organism. So that is why it is very important that first the food get break down into simple form. As you can see, how you can imagine the complex or the large insoluble particles. As you can see here, suppose these are this is the food, okay, and here this will shows you the complex structure of the food. So when the food is converted into simple form, it will change into a very simple like these type of structures, and now this is easily absorbed by the cells and is used by the production of energy. So this is what you can understand how the complex form is now changes into simple form. And this is done by the enzymes which are known as digestive juice or digestive enzymes. These are the chemicals which are used to digest or to break the complex food into the simple food. And also not only in amoeba, but this digestive enzymes or digestive juice are also present in human body and animal body also. Thereafter, we have absorption. So, what do you understand by the term absorption? In this process, in the absorption, the nutrients from the digested food materials are absorbed into the cell cytoplasm. Cytoplasm means if this is the cell of amoeba, then whatever present inside the cell is known as cytoplasm. This is known as cytoplasm. So, this will represents the cytoplasm of the amoeba's body, and thereafter, by leaving behind the undigested particle, this process is called the diffusion, and the excess of food is stored in the form of glycogen and lipid. So, the glycogen and lipid, these are the chemical compounds, or these are the form of food which is when excess it will stored in its form, and when the bacteria it will require this type of substances, this will takes and help in the production of energy for its use. But in case of human being, this absorption is done by the villi which is present in the small intestine. Thereafter, we have assimilation. So, this is very important step, and for this we eat food, or any organism eat food. We want to get energy from our food, and this assimilation process, that is why it is very important for us. So, what does it mean? The assimilation is a process of obtaining energy from the absorbed food material. In amoeba, the absorbed food molecules are utilized for producing the energy required to carry out different life processes within the cell. So, students, that means this energy, when it is taken by the food molecules, it is utilized whenever the amoeba require it. Amoeba required this type of energy, or when it will try to reproduce itself, when the cell break into two different cells, then this will be very important that it has energy to do so, and also for the movement of the single cell organism, and that is why the assimilation process is very important in any organism's body. Even for us also, if the assimilation is not happening, if we are not taking energy from that food that we are eating, then what is the use of that food? It is very important that assimilation is happening, and this is happen only when the cells, each cell of the organism absorbs the food material which is taken by the organism, and that in the cell of the organism, that food material is used to produce the different types of proteins and the requirement of the body. It will fulfill the requirement of the body. Thereafter, we have egestion. As the term egestion, it will represents you. E means outside, and gestion, that means removal. That means removal, and here the egestion is a process of excretion of undigested food material. Students, whatever we are eating is not directly used, is not totally used by our body. Some of the material, that is the wasteful, and it has to be removed from our body time to time, and this process is known as egestion. And in case of amoeba, this process is carried out by rupturing the cell membrane to remove the undigested food material from its body. So, in this process, when there is only single cell organism, rupturing of cell membrane is happening. But in our case, in human case, it is done by the anus system, which is already an open system. As you can see in the image, how the ingestion process takes place in amoeba. So, when the food comes near the amoeba, as you can see in the image, this is the single cell organism body. This single cell organism body, and when the food comes near the body of this amoeba, it will get sensitized, and ultimately the pseudopodia will arises from its body. Thereafter, the pseudopodia larges its size and try to surround the food particle. As you can see in the second image, here the ingestion process is done, in which, and not only this, but if the food is present here also, then this amoeba is producing the pseudopodias like this and start engulfing the food also. So this is done by the amoeba. Thereafter, after ingestion, the digestion takes place, in which this complex food is changes into the simple food, and this is done by the enzymes called digestive enzymes. Thereafter, we have absorption, in which the food or the simple substance which is required by the body of amoeba is absorbed by these cells, and in assimilation, in which the energy is produced. In this process, the energy is produced which is used by this amoeba in performing its different activity like reproduction, like movements, and many more activities. Thereafter, it has egestion. So, egestion takes place by the rupturing of the cell membrane. This amoeba is made up of cell membrane, and when the food is, it has to be removed from the body, the undigested food especially, then the cell membrane get ruptured and the food will comes out from the body. Thereafter, again, this amoeba is now ready to take or to engulf the food. Here this is known as engulfing of food particle. Then the next is nutrition in humans. So we human beings are omnivores. That means we are eating both a plant and the animals. So those organisms who are eating animals as well as plants, they are known as omnivores. And our body is therefore able to digest both plant and animals. Here we take in food through our mouth, and from the mouth it passes through a number of organs in our body. So in this chapter we have to study about all those organs which are required or which are present in our body to digest a food, to take the nutrition from the food. And all these organs together forms a food canal and known as alimentary canal or digestive tract. Here these three names are same. You can say a food canal, alimentary canal, or digestive tract. So these things are same, through which the food is passes for the next level of taking nutrition. Human alimentary canal. So in this canal, in this system, we have to study about the 7 different types of organs of human being. This alimentary canal is long and coiled tube. Long, that means we have long alimentary canal or the structures, that is the esophagus, and the coiled, we know that we have coiled organs also, that are the intestine. Our intestine are coiled in shape. So this alimentary canal is a long and coiled tube. It consists of following seven organs, which are mouth or mouth cavity. This mouth cavity is also known as buccal cavity, in which the saliva is produced, and we have 3 salivary glands present in our mouth. We will talk about it when we are studying about mouth. Thereafter we have esophagus. So esophagus is a long tube in which, this is also known as food pipe, in which no digestion takes place, but it allows the passage of the food into the stomach. And the third one is stomach, in which the food is now goes into the stomach. Thereafter, after stomach, the food enters into small intestine. Small intestine is not so small as you can think. It is 7.5 meter long, whereas the large intestine is not much large. Again, it is 1.5 meter only. So as you can think, as you can see here, this is 7.5 meter. This is the length of small intestine, and 1.5 meter, this is the length of large intestine. Thereafter, the rectum. The rectum is a structure or the organ in our body which stores the food materials which are not required by our body or the waste material. Thereafter, we have anus. So anus is the organ which allows the removal of the food material. So here you can see the image of digestive system of human being, in which you can see the first step, that is the engulfing or intaking of food that is happened by our mouth, and this is now goes into the buccal cavity, where the salivary glands are present in our mouth. Thereafter, we have tongue, in which tongue is very important for us because it has taste buds which gives us the taste of the food. It has different taste buds like sour, salty, sweet and bitter. So on our tongue, for these tastes, they have different reasons, and we will talk about it later. Epiglottis. So epiglottis, it is the structure in our body that is restricted, that help in checking the movement of the food particles into the windpipe. Thereafter, we have esophagus. So in esophagus, it is a long tube in which the food comes out from the mouth and reaches to the stomach region of our body. This structure, you can see, this is the stomach, and it is the widest part of the digestive system. Thereafter, there is U-shaped duodenum. This U-shaped structure after the stomach and till the small intestine, this is known as the duodenum region, and here you can see there is a leaf-like structure that is known as the pancreas. So pancreas, it secretes enzymes which are very essential for the digestion process. Thereafter, you can see there is a lobe-like structure that is known as the liver. So liver help in the production, or it produces the bile juice which is stored in the gallbladder. As you can see here, this is the small sac-like structure in which the secretion of liver, the liver it produces bile juice, and that is stored into the gallbladder region, and whenever it is required, when this bile juice is required by our body, it will released from the pancreatic region. Thereafter, we have small intestine. As you can see, this rounded structure, these are known as small intestine, and these green part of the intestine shows you the large intestine. Thereafter, the second last is rectum, and the last one is known as the anus region. This appendix is it not required by our body, it is the wasteful material. So let us know about digestive system. So human digestive system is consist of few glands and alimentary canal. Glands, as you have already seen in the structure of digestive system, where the gland, that is the liver. Liver is the largest gland in human body. So liver, pancreas, these are the glands which are used or which are very helpful in the process of digestion. And digestive system is comprises of the glands as well as the alimentary canal. So a few glands are also associated with the alimentary canal. These are salivary glands, liver and the pancreas. So you have to study about three basic glands. First one is salivary glands. It will secrete saliva. Liver, as you have already discussed, that liver secretes bile juice. Thereafter we have pancreas. So pancreas secretes pancreatic juice. These glands secretes digestive juice which convert complex food substances into simple ones, and the alimentary canal and associated glands together constitute the digestive system. So digestive system, it is made up of two different structures, which are, first one is alimentary canal and the second is the glands. And we have three glands: salivary gland, liver and the pancreas. One thing that you have to remember is liver is the largest gland of the human body, and it is made up of two different lobes which secretes bile juice. Mouth. The next is mouth. So this consists of tongue, teeth and salivary gland. Our mouth have tongue which have different taste bud, teeth which help in chewing and grinding of foods. Thereafter we have salivary glands. The teeth help in breaking the bigger food particles into small pieces by the process of chewing and mastication. So students, there is a new term, that is the mastication. It means chewing of food, and this is the mechanical process. Thereafter we have the tongue, and which help in mixing the saliva with the food, and saliva is a watery substance that is present in the mouth. So what is saliva? It is the watery substance which is present in the mouth. When you will see delicious foods in front of you, then your mouth start watering, and that watery substance is the saliva, and it is secreted by the three pairs of salivary glands which are present on the cheek, lower jaws and on the back side of the jaw. Thereafter, the juice present in saliva helps in chemical digestion of starch into sugar. Students, the digestion process is started in our mouth, because our mouth have saliva which help in digestion of starch into sugar. So when this question is asked to you that where the digestion is started, then the answer is mouth. After the food is broken down into simpler pieces, it will mixed with saliva and is swallowed down the digestive system and enters the food pipe, that is also known as esophagus. And in parallel with esophagus, there is a windpipe or the trachea, and which is guarded by the epiglottis. Thereafter we have teeth. So teeth are located in the lower jaws and the upper jaws in the mouth cavity, and they are fixed to the gums. Based on the structure and functions, teeth are of four types. So we have four types of teeth, which are incisor, canine, premolar and molars. So what are wisdom teeth? So there are 16 teeth in each jaws, with total of 32 teeth in the mouth cavity. But in young people, there are total of 8 molar jaws, 8 molar teeth in all. And also the second set of 4 molar develops at the age of 18 or more, and that second set of 4 molar teeth are known as the wisdom teeth. As you can see in the image, these are the three pairs of salivary gland which secretes saliva. And here you can see the image of incisor. So incisor teeth, it is very thin. Thereafter we have canine. After incisor we have canine, and then we have premolars, and at the last we have molars. So molars are the broad based teeth, and this will help in the mastication, chewing of the food. Here temporary teeth or milk teeth. So what are these? Let us see it. At birth, human infant has no teeth, and the first teeth appear after 6 months or so on. Fall off between 6 to 8 years of age. So students, the first teeth that arises in a child when at the age of 6 months, and it will fall in between 6 to 8 years, and these teeth, this set of teeth are known as the milk teeth, or these are the temporary teeth. And also there are 20 milk teeth. There are total 20 milk teeth. Milk teeth are replaced by permanent teeth at around the age of 6, and the permanent teeth are 32 in number. Here you can see the table in which this will shows that the incisor, the lower jaws, it has 4 in number, and on the upper jaws also. So here correct it, this is upper jaw, lower and upper jaw. So in upper jaws there are 4 set of teeth also, and in total these are 8. And what is the function of incisors? So this help in cutting and biting of the food particles. Thereafter we have canines. So in lower jaws it is 2 in number, and in upper jaws also 2 in numbers, and the total number of canines present in our body is 4. And what is the use or the function of these teeth? These are helping tearing of the food, and these canines are absent in case of ruminants. Thereafter we have premolar. So we have 4 upper jaws teeth and also 4 premolar in the upper and the lower both the jaws, and in combination with it we have total 8 number of teeth that are the premolar teeth, and this will help in chewing and grinding of the food particles. Thereafter we have at the last molar, and these are 6 on the lower jaws and 6 on the upper jaws, and combining to this we have total 12 molar teeth, and this will also help in chewing and grinding of the foods. Here you can see the image how the teeth are located in the jaws. The first 2 are incisor. Thereafter 1 on both the sides we have canine. 1, and thereafter the second one also. So we have this, you can see first one, second, third. So this numbering is done according to the presence of teeth. So you can see here we have incisor, then canine, then premolar, and at the last we have molar teeth. First two are incisor, the third one is the canine, and the 2, 4th and 5th, these are the premolars, and here we have molar. The 3 teeth on both the sides, they are the molars, and these teeth are arranged on the socket of jaws. The dental formula for the human being are two. This 2 represents the incisor because we have 2 incisors. Thereafter we have 1, that is the canine, and thereafter we have 2 premolars, and at the last we have 3 incisors. So this is the dental formula, and this will represent the upper jaws, and same number of teeth are present on the lower jaws also. So this is the dental formula for human being. 2 1 2 3. After that we have tongues. So tongue is a fleshy muscular organ and is attached at the back and free at the front. It can be moved in all directions. It performs the following functions, which are: it helps in mixing the chewed food with saliva. It helps in swallowing foods. It helps to detect different tastes of foods like sour, bitter, salty, and sweet, and with the help of taste buds. So on our tongues we have different, or we have so many taste buds are present. Here you can see in the image, the taste buds present on the tongue can detect 4 basic tastes, which are salty, sour, sweet, and bitter. So what are the position? It is very important to know the position of different taste buds. So first, the tip of the tongue consists of the sour taste. Thereafter we have sweet, and in the middle of the tongue we have salty taste, and on both the lateral sides we have sour, and here also the sour taste buds are present, and at the last we have bitter taste buds. So these are the different regions of the tongues which represents or which gives you the taste of your food. So students, it's your work that find out what will happen if your tip of the tongue get burned, which taste you will not feel. Try to find out the answer by your own. Thereafter we have esophagus. Esophagus is also known as food pipe. So the swallowed food passes from the mouth to the stomach and through a passage or the pipe called the food pipe or the esophagus. So this is the long tube-like structures, and it is long tube-like structure, and here you can see there is stomach, so it ends at the stomach region and started from the buccal cavity, also known as mouth cavity. So the food runs along the neck and the chest, and here there is no digestion takes place in this region. In esophagus there is no digestion takes place. The function of esophagus is only to push the food downward to reach the food into the stomach only. At the time the food is not accepted by the stomach, this results in vomiting. So the esophagus ends at the stomach. As you can see in the image, this is the structure of esophagus and it ends at the stomach, as this image will represent you the structure of stomach, and it is further divided into 3 subzones, which are the fundus, the cardiac, and the pyloric region. So the food from the esophagus comes into the stomach, and here all the digestive juices are mixed with it, and the food then goes into the duodenum part of the stomach. The end of this duodenum starts the small intestine from here. So this stomach, it is the widest part of the digestive system also. Here the stomach, the inner lining of stomach secretes mucus, hydrochloric acid, and digestive juices, performing the following functions. So what does the stomach do? It will secrete mucus, hydrochloric acid. You can also write it as a HCl. In short form, hydrochloric acid is also written as HCl. So here H This is for hydro and chloric, so Cl. Hydrochloric acid. The digestive juices performing the following functions. The first function is the mucus protect the inner lining of stomach. Students, the food that we are eating is very rough, and that will, if it is present in the stomach as such, then it will damages the inner lining of the stomach. So it is very important that first it will mix with the mucus part or the mucus of the stomach. Thereafter, the stomach also produces acid, and this acid will help in killing the bacteria which enters along with the food and also make the medium acidic so that the digestive juice act. So it is very important that the harmful bacteria which are not good for our health, it will killed into the stomach region from the hydrochloric acid. And the second function of hydrochloric acid is it will maintain the acidic medium into the stomach so that the digestive juice performs its activity. Digestive juice help to break down the protein into the simple form. This protein part is break down into the amino acid by the action of digestive juice. So this protein is somewhat complex in structure, whereas the amino acids, these are the simple forms, and this conversion is done by the digestive juice. The partially digested food from the stomach goes into the small intestine. So what does the small intestine do? Let us see it. Digestion in small intestine is carried out with the help of secretion from the liver and pancreas. So these are the glands, liver and pancreas. These are the glands along with the salivary gland also. So here this secretions, the secretion of liver and pancreas are mixes here. Thereafter the food, the digestive juice secreted by the small intestine also, and the liver, that is the largest gland in the body. It is reddish brown gland and located in the upper part of the abdomen on the right side. So this is the position of the liver. It is present on the upper part of abdomen on the right side of the body. Thereafter, what does it do? The liver secretes bile juice, and which help in digestion of fat. Students, the fat is not digested if the bile juice is not secreted. So that is why it is very important the functioning of liver properly. Thereafter, the bile juice is stored in a sac-like structure that is known as gallbladder. So here you can see the image of liver and pancreas both along with the gallbladder. So this will represent you the two lobes of liver. This is the largest gland in our body. So here this liver secretes bile juice, and that is stored into the gallbladder. This bile juice comes from this duct and stored into the gallbladder, and here you can see there is a opening or the passage into the duodenum part of the small intestine. So that means the liver secretes its secretion into the intestinal part, and here also this leaf-like structure is known as pancreas. Pancreas also secretes pancreatic juice, which is also released into the small intestine part. So here this is the structure of the pancreas also, and this pancreas is very important for diabetic patient because it will secrete insulin, which is very important for the digestion of sugar or the glucose. Pancreas. So what is pancreas? This gland is cream colored and located just below the stomach, and the pancreatic juice act on the protein, starch and fat and changes them into simple form. There is multi-purpose use of pancreatic juice, as you can see here, that this will help in the digestion of many things like protein, starch and fat. As the result, the digestion in the small intestine, all the components of foods are broken down into simple form. And what are the simple forms? Let us see. The carbohydrate, which is the complex form. So the carbohydrates are broken down into simple sugar, which is the glucose. The fat, which is the complex form, and it is also converted into the simple form, that is the fatty acid and the glycerol. And here protein is also a complex food, and it is also changes into the amino acids, which are the simple form, and all these three processes are done by the help of pancreatic juice. Thereafter we have absorption. So absorption is very important process, because if the absorption is not done into the human's body, then there is no means of the above processes. So absorption in the small intestine, the inner wall of the small intestine has numbers of finger-like outgrowth called the villi. So villi, these are the finger-like outgrowth. As you can see, these are the finger-like outgrowth. The villi increases the surface area of absorption of the digested food. So students, the food is present around this villi, and here the food get absorbed by the villi, as you can see here, and thereafter this absorbed food is transformed into the blood and reaches throughout our body. So villi is very important, and it is present, or it is the finger-like outgrowth on the intestine, especially the small intestine. The food substances are absorbed by the villi and then transported through the body vessels into different organs of the body. In the body, the absorbed food is incorporated into cell components, that is the assimilation process. Assimilation means the food that is now in the simple form, that is reaches to each and every cell of the body, and there it is utilized to convert it into energy. So this is the assimilation process, and it is done only when the food is in the simple form and it is absorbed by the blood, or the villi reaches to the blood. The food then remains undigested and unabsorbed, enters the large intestine. So in large intestine there is not much absorption takes place, only the water get absorbed in it. Large intestine. The large intestine is shorter in length, about 1.5 meters only, but it is wider than the small intestine. No digestion occurs here. Only absorption takes place, and its main function is to absorb water from the undigested material. Here, what is rectum and anus? So these are the lastmost part of the digestive tract. The rectum, the undigested waste from the large intestine passes into the rectum and is stored here. So storage of the undigested waste material is done into the rectum part of the digestive system. Only storage, and this is in the form of semi-solid feces. Thereafter, anus. Anus is the last part of the digestive tract, and here the fecal matter is passed out through an opening called the anus. It is just a structure through which the fecal matter, the thing which is not required, or the undigested waste material is passed out through this, and this process is known as egestion of the food. Egestion means going outside. So it is happening in the anus region. So these two things are different structures. The first one, the rectum, it only store the waste material, whereas anus, it help in the digestion of the food material. So thank you students, thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned with us and keep on revising.